Society has a word for people who gain weight easily. Several words, actually, none of them kind. Biology has a different word, survivor. Because here's what nobody tells you when you're staring at a number on a scale or avoiding mirrors in fitting rooms. Your body isn't broken, it isn't failing, it isn't betraying you. It's doing exactly what it was engineered to do across hundreds of thousands of years of brutal, unforgiving human history. And it was very, very good at its job. Let's talk about what your body actually is. A famine machine. Your body gains weight easily because it stores energy efficiently. That sentence sounds like a problem. In 2025, surrounded by grocery stores and delivery apps, it genuinely can be. But strip away the modern world for a moment. Go back 15,000 years. No agriculture, no refrigerators, no guaranteed next meal. Early humans didn't eat 3 times a day on a schedule. They ate when they found food. Then they didn't eat. Then they found food again. Then winter came and food disappeared for months. This wasn't occasional. This was the rhythm of human life for most of human history. Feast, famine, feast, famine. And your body? Your body looked at that pattern and said, I have a plan. Your metabolism runs what researchers call a thrifty system. When food comes in, it extracts maximum energy, stores what it doesn't immediately need, holds onto reserves with extraordinary efficiency. When food disappears, it slows down metabolic rate to conserve what's stored. Other bodies burned through everything immediately, felt great during abundance, collapsed during scarcity. Your body played the long game. The people whose bodies couldn't store efficiently, they didn't make it through the bad winters, through the failed hunts, through the droughts that killed crops before agriculture even existed. Your easy weight gain isn't a glitch, it's a feature that was selected for, generation after generation, because it kept people alive when nothing else did. You are descended from the survivors of famines your body never forgot. If you're enjoying this deep dive into the story, hit the subscribe button and let us know in the comments from where in the world you are watching from today. The Pacific Island Proof. You want evidence this isn't just theory? Look at Samoa. Pacific Islander populations, particularly Samoan communities, show some of the highest rates of a specific gene variant that dramatically increases metabolic efficiency and fat storage capacity. Today, medical literature frames this almost exclusively as an obesity risk factor. But ask a different question. Why does this gene exist at all? Why did it spread through an entire population? Because Samoans are descendants of some of the greatest navigators in human history. Polynesian ancestors crossed the Pacific Ocean in outrigger canoes, thousands of miles of open water, no GPS, no supply ships, minimal food, weeks at sea under brutal sun with whatever they could carry. The people whose bodies couldn't store energy efficiently didn't survive those voyages. They starved before they found land. The people whose bodies held onto every calorie, extracted maximum energy from minimum food, kept fat reserves burning when there was nothing left to eat. They landed. They had children. They built civilizations on islands across the largest ocean on Earth. That gene variant modern medicine calls an obesity risk? It was the survival lottery ticket that got an entire people across the Pacific. Your metabolism isn't slow. It's the metabolism of people who crossed oceans on willpower and stored fat. The cold survival advantage. Here's one people never think about. Body fat isn't just stored energy, it's insulation. Actual, functional, life-saving insulation. Modern materials science spends billions trying to replicate what your body does naturally. Fat tissue surrounding organs and beneath skin creates a thermal barrier. It slows heat loss. It keeps core temperature stable when outside temperatures drop. For most of human history, cold didn't mean being uncomfortable. Cold meant dying. Ice Age Europe, Siberian winters, the period around 12,000 years ago when volcanic eruptions dropped global temperatures and food became scarce simultaneously. Bodies that could store fat had a double advantage: energy reserves during famine and thermal protection during cold. Lean bodies lost heat faster, required more calories just to maintain core temperature. In a famine during winter, that's a catastrophic combination. Your body needs more fuel precisely when there's less fuel available. Higher body fat percentage reduced that problem. Less heat escaped, fewer calories burned, just keeping you alive. The stored energy lasted longer because the insulation kept the system running efficiently. Northern populations where cold was a consistent survival pressure, they show genetic patterns toward more efficient fat storage. Not random, selected. Because the bodies that stored fat survived winters that killed bodies that didn't, your easy weight gain in cold climates throughout most of human history was a survival blanket your body built for itself. The injury and illness buffer. This one is underrated, almost nobody talks about it. When serious illness hits the human body, something happens that doctors call metabolic stress response. Your body dramatically increases its energy demands. Fighting infection requires fuel. Tissue repair requires fuel. Running a fever requires fuel. Recovering from injury requires fuel. A lot of fuel. Bodies with minimal fat reserves hit empty fast during extended illness. Their systems start breaking down muscle for energy. Immune function degrades. Recovery slows. What should be a survivable illness becomes life-threatening because the body runs out of resources. Bodies with efficient fat storage have reserves. The immune system keeps fighting. Fever runs its course. Tissue repairs. The body has something to burn while it handles the crisis. Medical researchers studying historical famines and epidemic mortality consistently find that individuals with higher body fat percentages at the time of infection show better survival rates during extended illness. Not because fat makes you healthier, because fat gives your body something to run on when food is unavailable and your system is under maximum stress. Before antibiotics, before hospitals, before IV nutrition, before any of the modern interventions that keep bodies alive through serious illness, your body's ability to store reserves was the difference between surviving a bad winter illness and not surviving it. Your easy weight gain was a medical supply depot your ancestors carried with them everywhere they went. If you find this story engaging, please take a moment to subscribe and enable notifications. It helps us continue producing in-depth content like this. A reproductive advantage. This applies specifically but critically. Fat tissue isn't metabolically inert, it's hormonally active. It produces and regulates hormones, including those involved in reproductive function. For women specifically, body fat percentage directly impacts reproductive viability. Too low and reproductive systems shut down. The body reads insufficient fat reserves as an environment too dangerous for pregnancy and halts the process. This isn't modern, this is ancient biological logic. In environments of food scarcity and physical stress, a body that can't store fat can't maintain the hormonal conditions necessary for reproduction. A body that stores fat efficiently maintains those conditions even when food becomes temporarily scarce. Across human history, in environments where food supply was unreliable, women whose bodies stored fat more efficiently maintained reproductive function through periods of scarcity. Women whose bodies couldn't store fat experienced reproductive disruption when food decreased. Over thousands of generations, this selected for metabolic efficiency. Easy weight gain, from an evolutionary reproductive standpoint, meant your female ancestors could maintain fertility through conditions that shut down reproduction in leaner bodies. Your bloodline continued when others didn't. The endurance fuel tank. Here's something that sounds paradoxical. Easy weight gain means you carry a larger fuel tank, and in environments where sustained physical effort was required over long periods with unpredictable food access, a larger fuel tank was a serious advantage. Endurance performance, particularly over multiple days, isn't just about how efficiently you move, it's about how much stored fuel you have available when external food runs out. Ultra-endurance research shows that higher body fat, when paired with metabolic flexibility, meaning the ability to efficiently burn fat for fuel, creates superior endurance capacity during extended efforts without food access. Ancient hunters didn't always find food on day one of a hunt. Sometimes the hunt lasted days. The body that could keep moving on stored reserves for longer had a survival advantage that leaner, more efficient burning bodies couldn't match in extended scenarios. You have a bigger tank. In a world where the gas station might be 3 days away by foot through hostile terrain, a bigger tank kept you moving when others stopped. The honest part. None of this means gaining weight easily has no costs in the modern world. It does. Real ones. Metabolic efficiency that saved lives in scarcity creates elevated health risks in abundance. Easy fat storage combined with processed food, sedentary work, and constant availability is a mismatch between ancient engineering and modern environment. The same system that kept your ancestors alive through famines now operates in a world without famines, and it hasn't caught up yet. That's not your fault. That's a 200-year-old industrial food system colliding with 200,000 years of survival biology. But here's what the internet won't tell you. Evolutionary advantages don't disappear because the environment changed. They go dormant. Strip away modern food abundance. Strip away climate control. Strip away supply chains. Put your body back into the conditions it was built for. Variable food access, cold, physical demand, illness without medical intervention. Your metabolism would be an advantage again, immediately. Currently tells you to envy. History is the longest study ever run on human survival. And across that study, metabolic efficiency won every famine, won every hard winter, won every voyage into the unknown. The truth, your body isn't betraying you. It's running ancient code that was tested under conditions most people alive today have never faced and will never face. It kept your ancestors breathing through famines that killed efficient burners, through ocean voyages that starved lean bodies, through ice age winters that froze people who couldn't hold heat, through illnesses that burned through reserves and killed anyone without them. Every person reading this with an easy gainer metabolism is descended from a long line of people whose bodies made the same smart decision over and over across thousands of years. Store it, you'll need it later. They were right. You're here because they were right. Your metabolism isn't the problem, it's the inheritance, the survival bet that paid off for hundreds of thousands of years before grocery stores made it complicated. Own it. That's power. Thank you for watching. For more detailed historical breakdowns, check out the other videos on your screen now and don't forget to subscribe.